Well, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. So, this will be the final installation of this animation interview series. We started off talking about animation in the Bay Area, we talked about animation in Los Angeles, and now we're going to be speaking with Dragon House. We'll be speaking with Bluprint, Iglide, Cyrus, and Chibi. For those that you don't know, well, you should know, but Dragon House pretty much brought animation to a worldwide national TV, popularized the dance style. From So You Think You Could Dance, a lot of people were watching that show. And now we're going to dive into the history of Dragon House and what animation meant to them and what their journey was, their dance journey. So today we'll also be having Colin Adams, who will be the host of this interview. I met Colin a year ago at Unimate, the animation event in Los Angeles. And since a year ago, Colin, he put a group chat together for the current generation of animators, where people were asking questions, people were sharing their own research. Colin was doing his own research, posting slides, giving presentations. He actually came to LA and gave a talk on his perspective of animation. So Colin's been putting in the work for a year now of just gathering the information so the public can know about it. So without further ado,
Mhm.
Colin.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Um, yeah, so getting right into it, I'd like to start out by just going to each of you, and if you guys could share with us who your main inspirations were that got you into dance.
Hmm. Start with
Yep.
Chibi. Mr. Cheeps.
Oh, you want me to start? Oh, you want me to start first, or
Yeah.
um, oh man. So I guess my story is that while I was in high school, I was invited to like a party, and I didn't, was just like, all right, let's, go see what's up, and then went there, just kind of like was in the, they had the like backyard, everyone was like doing whatever. And then I saw this person who was like just kind of doing like, really cool moves. And I basically asked him, what was he doing? And so I asked, he answered, like, pop and lock. And so I was like, okay, all right. So the next day I decided, all right, I'm going to go on the internet and just kind of do some research on, this pop and lock. And so
Unlock.
I actually watched this video earlier because it was kind of nice to kind of like have as a refresher. But the very first video I saw regarding like pop and lock was this poppin battle. Was it Divi versus Dimehi? I think that's what it was. Um and but my most of my focus was on the V because like how he started off was kind of just like basically kind of just like a little bit like robot toy, and when he was like walking off he was kind of just like walking kind of like as like kind of a little toy, and then he did kind
Yeah.
of bobblehead, and like from a bobblehead to like a body wave, and it was just doing a bunch of just crazy stuff, and it was just like, wow, this is just really amazing. And that was basically just how I really started being so interested in popping. And then I think like over time, I saw, you know, like as far as like how I really got into the robot is just how, you know, in like in clubs you see like people just kind of playing around doing like the robot, doing like this and stuff. But I was watching like performers actually like being the robot. And I was like, okay, that's really something that's really cool. So I had to do like some research, like, and this was like something I had to like kind of go around and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to become the robot? Like I was watching videos from performers like, Robert Shields, and then I saw like no, like I've learned about other dancers like Bob and Andre, Matt Chad,
Mhm.
and I believe I've heard of like Ace and
Hmm.
it was kind of just where from there I was like trying to teach myself the style and then like, over time it was just just like learning and learning, over the years. I mean, doing this for like over like 20 years is just really crazy.
Yeah, yeah, man. All right. What about you, Blue? Who were your inspirations?
Mine was back in high school because I was dancing before when I was in like middle school, high school, but it was like party dance type shit. It wasn't really like nothing crazy. It wasn't no waves, no tutting or nothing. But when I saw Droid,
Mhm.
what we know who we know as Droid today, Android, before Dragon House when that's when he was in my high school. I saw him dancing during a pep rally, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yo, I have to learn whatever that is. Like I was doing. That's when I was doing like what was cool. But that's when I was doing like the heel toe or whatever the hell was cool. At that time. I was like, no, that's even better. That's like the best dancing I've ever seen. So I remember going up to him and I was like, yo, you trying to like teach me? You know what I'm saying? And he was like trying to show me how to like wave right then and there. And I was like, no, let's like really set up some like some training sessions or whatever y'all call it. You know what I'm saying? Let's like link up and dance and lab. I learned the term later, lab. You know what I'm saying? It's lab. That's when he took me to the garage, his homie garage. Deshaun, who was later in our dance crew that we curated back in high school. And that's a whole nother story. But basically made a whole dance crew in high school, got a bunch of dancers together, used all those, but not used, that's crazy. Learned from all these dancers and basically like took a lot of the things that I now know as animation and adopted it to my style. But that's when I was like learning how to like b-boy and crump, you know what I'm saying? Like styles I'm nowhere near familiar with today. But well, except for crump. But all in all, yeah, it was basically Droid back in high school during a pep rally, learning from him, going from there, starting to recruit after high school, Martian Clan, battling Dragon House. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And if any of you guys on the call don't know Droid, look him up after. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
for sure. Andre Rucker.
He's crazy. He was at Unimate the first year, so you might have seen some of his rounds there. But
Yeah.
all right, what about you, Glide? Who are your initial inspirations?
Um, for what I do now, initially it was a friend of a friend. Um, he had a friend that could glide. I mean, he had some popular stuff, but mainly his footwork that intrigued me. So, when I first saw it, I was like, it represented like this amazing freedom to me. So I was like, yo, I need to learn how to do this. So I practiced and then just train in my garage or wherever. Like just I trained relentlessly at that. And then I went to this spot. It used to be like the dance spot of Atlanta called Wild Bills. And I went one night and Marquise showed up. And man, that's when I saw him popping. And I was like, yo, teach me. And we actually became like best friends, like right there. So like the very next day, I was on my way to the girl's dating's house at the time, and he was like, "Yo, man, I got these tickets for this game. You want to come to this game?" And I was like, "Yes." So went downtown. We linked up. We didn't go to the game. We just ended up practicing a little bit. Then we hit this other spot, another dance spot of Atlanta. It's an iconic spot called MJQ. That's like the dancer spot. And ever since then, like, well, at least for a few years after that, we were going to the club like almost every night. Like, and I was just putting myself in circles and practicing and just really diving into the craft, the culture of it, the community of it. And then I just kept growing from there. Then animation though, like I mean, Keith could animate, or Keith is animator, but it was more so popular with Keith and like just like his freedom of movement and all that. But it was Chibi who put me on game with the dime stops. When I saw Chibi at Wild Bills, and this man was, I was just like, yo, like, teach me. And then we linked up later and became friends and all that. So yeah.
Dope, dope. Yeah. For those of you that have seen Chibi in person, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't, you got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
But that leaves us with Cyrus.
Yo, for me is short and sweet. It was Turbo from
Yep.
Breaking.
Oh yeah.
Boogaloo Shrimp. Um, yeah, he did it. He did it. I was all like kind of in a similar fashion as Blue. Like in Atlanta, you are when you're raised in Atlanta, you are consumed by the culture, and the culture in Atlanta was party dances. We had Lean with it, Rock with it, Walk It
Hmm.
Out. Like this was our era
Walk
of
it out.
dancing. So I was already mixing it, you know what I'm saying, with like popping elements, which is weird because I didn't really know what I was doing
Right.
per se, but I was doing it and I knew it was fire. And I knew it was fire. Come on, man. What because like at the parties, you know what I'm saying? Like at the
No.
parties, it'll be ding, 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 ding,
Mm-mm.
ding,
Snap and roll, yeah.
ding, ding. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. And so I grew up on the South Side, so there was a crew called Animation, Yogi, Scooby, all these guys. We used to go to skating rinks, and so we was all doing it. Like everybody was doing it, but I didn't know it was like there was a term to it until I saw Turbo, and I said, "Oh, he going crazy," and I still think he ahead of his time. I think what he was doing then if he did that now in a comp, he would do great. Like I think people would be like, "Dang, he fine."
Yeah.
So, that's for me, Turbo Boogaloo Shrimp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, kind of talking about ATL culture at the time, but kind of let's go back, to that time and paint us a picture of what the scene was like, what your guys' exposure was to it, and how that manifested in creating Dragon House.
Mhm. Well, for me, my exposure to like just the dance culture in Atlanta was like I don't know if this was something that Glide, I don't know because he kind of started dancing, I guess later. And Blue, you started dancing a bit later too.
Mhm.
And Chibi, I mean, you saw, so it's kind of weird. It's different for everybody, right? But for me, I remember being a kid. Like, I had to be like 11, 12. And before we would dance, we would say like a rhyme. Like, it was weird, but it was like, since you wanna be a hero, watch me hit that Sub-Zero. And then we do the whole scene, bro. I'm telling you. But like, that's how it was. Like, and we
Yeah.
would then like it was like, boom, here's my bar, and then boom, here's my bars. So it was like that's kind of how we did it and it just kind of was like a thing, and the whole neighborhood did it. I thought everybody in Atlanta did it, I don't know, but it was like that for a long time, and it was just like that's how we became creative, or at least for me, like that's how it was like this is how you can create, like this is how you can make new characters, this is how you can do new things, this is how you don't repeat. And
Mm.
then like I remember I saw Leprechaun in the Hood. Y'all remember that movie?
Hmm.
I saw Leprechaun in the Hood, and when he eat eyeball, like he like eat the dude eyeball, and then he started vibrating. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was so young, but I
Yeah.
just remember doing that, and it was like our little group was just like But again, like dancing was so community in Atlanta. It didn't feel like this is our dance crew because I was a kid, like at that time we didn't have dance crew. These are just our friends. Like we just dancing. You know what I'm saying? This is just the community vibes. Like when you get together, you party, you dance, you play ball, you play sports, you run, you play tag. All those things. Like dancing was just another game for us. At the
Yeah.
time, and I didn't start taking like shifting into like a dance mindset of being like, oh, I'm kind of nice at this until I was like later in my teens. You know what I mean? Where I started realizing like, oh, y'all like that? It was a pep rally
Mm.
at my high school, and they was like, oh, he's going crazy. And they was like, oh, he nice. And I was like, yeah, damn. But like the culture for me was like it was always based off of like music and bars and things like that and like partying, just like partying. Like I just feel like that's Atlanta culture. It's like a party. It's like everybody's showing love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other comments on that?
Yeah, for me, um, like Rich said, I did get into the game pretty late. Um, and once I was in it, and it was like I said, I was going around with Keys. It was going to all the competitions and the clubs. Like that's how I saw that. That's how I was exposed to the scene. And every time we went to a different spot. It was that sense of adventure of like seeing a new style, new dancer, new that whole energy. And definitely like I said, like the competitions and stuff. That's where we came across Chibi multiple times. And there was always Chibi and Keith in the finals. It was always epic. And that's what really opened my mind to like popping in the world of it. And then I started getting on YouTube and started looking at videos and But Atlanta, I feel like I don't know, it's like we had this very rich with um, diversity and like dynamic styles of stuff and I know like it's almost like you could see anything from anywhere but it all had a very like similar feel to it that felt like Atlanta because anytime you go out of
Mhm.
state or we go out of state you see like there is like there is a essence of that area. In LA, and Chicago, New York, there's an essence on the dancers that are there. So in Atlanta,
Mhm.
like it's like let's saying, like it's crunk, it's also hype. And also like everyone loves character. Everyone loves like when you come in and you like got crazy looking braids and stuff, and you got like crazy dime stops and stuff. Like that was like the magic of Atlanta for
Mhm.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's facts. That's why I had the blue mohawks.
Ah, Cyrus, is that
A
your thing too with
little
the
bit.
No, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, that was like an accident.
No
It
way.
was it was like I'm gonna tell you what happened. I was just messing around because like Glide, no, I had the waves, I had the 360s.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I had the
hustler.
I had them boys. And then so I was just like letting it grow a little bit, and I was like, man, what if I grew my hair out? And while I was cutting it, I just left the middle, and I was like,
Hmm.
hey, this kind of clean, Glide. What you think? You know what I'm saying? And then I just rocked it for a couple days. I rocked it for a couple days. This is when I was working at Charlotte Russe at that mall. This is when I was borrowing Chibi card. And I was they was like, "Oh, that's nice." That's all they had to tell me. That's all they had to tell me.
So you know when they said that it was nice, that it was nice.
It was nice.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So now kind of shifting a little bit back to like the Dragon House formation. My understanding is it started with remote control, which was Glide, Chibi, and Keys, correct?
Yep.
Yes and no. Like so, Remote Control is a big part of Dragon House, but Dragon House was formed with 5 people.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't established as Dragon House until Glitch and Freak Show were already with us.
Hmm.
True.
Okay. Yeah. So that was when you guys got together and decided to create Dragon House. Was when the five of you got together.
Yeah, but it wasn't. So it wasn't created like a conscious decision. It was more
Okay.
like
Yeah.
so Freak Show.
Yes.
Mhm.
Freak Show, he had this thing where if you were like super like dope at something, he would call you a dragon. Like if you were
Mm.
crazy at this game, oh, you were dragon at this game, dragon this, dragon that. So I guess it came to awareness that oh yeah, we're like a house full of like animators, and we all think we're good and this and that, and we all it's like a little community building here, and Freak Show would be like oh yeah, this is a house full of dragons.
Mm.
And then, just saying that over and over again, just, eventually it got shortened to Dragon House. And then Dragon House just became a thing. Like there was no agenda, there was no
Hmm.
objective. It was just something that was planted and it just grew.
So
And then the agenda happened where it was
okay.
like
Yeah.
now we're all marketable
Mm.
together because remote control was already signed, they had their own entity. So if me and Freak at this point, because this is before we start interchanging, doing like the remote control things. But if we were to pitch all of us or get work as a crew like this, or it was easier to establish them outside of the mask, which would be outside of remote control. So that's where it was like Dragon House kind of took form of its own entity of being like, hey, we can also work. Like this
Mm.
is good. And like I wish y'all could talk to Freak Show because he has such a character about himself,
Yeah.
and he'd be like, "Dragon," like he'll do it like he'll do it a certain way. He'd be like, "Damn, Dragon," and it was like it was so epic that when he would say Dragon House, it felt like a new entity. It felt
Mm.
like the it was just the five of us, like I said. So it was not in our mind yet to expand. We didn't think, oh, let's welcome people in. We would like I said, it happened so organically. That's one of those things where I often say it's like Dragon House. It's like, yes, it's a group full of dope dancers. That just happened to be what happened because of the people who like we attracted, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then some people were really good, but like I said, I've said this many times, like Glide is one of those people who see potential. I'm one of those people who see potential. So it's like the people who do come to us seeking knowledge, it's like you can see like actually Bluprint, Droid, and Wolf, his name was, had hired me to come like teach a little session, a private. And was you there, Blue? You was there, right? Or did you
Nah,
miss
but
that?
I missed it. Yeah,
He missed it.
that was the same garage though.
Yeah, same garage. Blue was
Yeah,
supposed to show up. He never showed up.
yeah.
Hey,
You be doing
some
this
things
for?
never change. But
Yeah,
but
All right, got that on camera.
but but but
that's
Blueprint,
crazy.
I mean, but Droid and Wolf was there. And when I seen Droid, I was like, hey, this guy's absolutely insane. And at
Yeah.
this point, quick story, quicker story. The reason I ended up with Glide Chibi in the apartment was because Glide gave me one of those like movie type scenarios. He told me I was fine. This is after a week of being there. It was I went to my first comp and I met them. They thought I was dope. I thought they was dope. He was like, "Come train." I was like, "Bet." So he thought I was fine. He said, "Hey man, listen, if you promise to focus only on dance," because at this point I still hadn't taken dance serious. I was doing other things and being, just a human, regular guy. Because I think dancers are not regular people. So I was just being a regular guy, and he was like, if you really focus on this and like hone your craft, like you can stay with us. And he was like, you ain't gotta worry about nothing, just take care of yourself. But like I want you to, and I said,
Yeah.
I said, sign me up.
Time to
Because
get
you
one.
don't get that. You don't get
Yeah.
that. I was like probably like 3 months from going to the army at this point,
Mm.
bro. Like
Wow.
seriously. Like it was like something that was just like I had went and took the little practice test, the little joint they do, and then they like bait you. They like, oh, you would have get a you get a bonus. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I link with Glide and everybody out there. I was like doing some things for me, you know what I'm saying, for my mental, for myself. And yeah, bro, it was like okay, I'm here and we was up. So at this point, when I see Droid, I'm like, hey man, I found somebody that might beat Keys. I said, I think he got him. Like off the first session, I
Off
said,
the
I think
rip.
he can beat Keys. I said, and Glide was like, yeah, right. Like Glide was like not having it. He wasn't having it. And I said, bro, I promise you. I said, I'm gonna try to invite him over, bro. I promise you. And then when I did, he saw it and he was like, wait a minute. I ain't never
Yo,
I ain't never thought of nothing like that.
Joy, it was scary.
He
He
was
was
scared.
so scary, bro. Like,
Um,
I'm
he's
not gonna try to do
ridiculous.
nothing, but like, y'all know, like, he
And
was
yeah.
he was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
Scary's a good it's a good and accurate way to describe him. It's just insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you spoke a bit on it, Cyrus, about kind of the culture of Dragon House in its early days. I want you guys to, if you don't mind, speak more on that. Like paint a picture for those that don't know. I mean, you guys were literally living in like a room, right?
It
Like,
started 3 bedroom apartment, and it
yeah,
was 6 people. It started with six
yeah.
people. 3 bedroom apartment, 6 people.
Hmm.
That was
No,
uh
7. It was 7.
7.
Yeah,
That
it was the 5 of us.
No, Keith wasn't there though.
Well, no, Keith and Mara moved in. Keith and Mara were 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, they moved in after. So first it was me, you, Chibi, Freak, and Tasha,
Yep, baby
and
T.
then
See?
and then when Keith and Amar moved in, and then that's when it became like Dragon House.
Mm-hmm.
And then but Dragon House essentially it became like it wasn't like I say it's a 3 bedroom apartment, and it became like this place of refuge. So when like dancers that we knew that were already in our circles, it wasn't really about skill or anything like that. Then it was just like, oh, you're a friend. You know, we've done a lot together. You need some help. Come stay here for a couple of weeks, whatever, and figure things out. And then people would come and then just stay there.
They wouldn't leave. They wouldn't leave.
Like Droid, the day we met Droid, the day I met him in person was at this competition. I forgot what it's called, but it was like it was I was a judge. I think Glitch, you were judging too, and then someone else. But like that day I met Droid, I invited him back to the house, and he was there. He was there.
He never
He
left.
didn't leave.
There.
Right? He was there, and then yeah, like just people kept coming, and eventually in that first installment of Dragon House of the apartment, we had 13 people living there.
Wow. The same 3 bedroom apartment.
Yeah,
Wow.
bro. You get
Yeah.
creative where you stay and where you
Yeah,
live.
it's like find a corner and make it your own.
That's about as
I mean,
creative as it gets.
I'll never forget the So You Think You Can Dance intro where you guys are like sitting on the couch and you're like, yeah, this is my bedroom and this is my bed and that's, you know. So,
Yeah, and then but it wasn't. We had that, but we also had like after every event in Atlanta that we all went to, like it was our place was a place to come back to after. So we'd be like 20, 30 deep in there, you know, and after dancing all day at the event, we'd come back and we would have sessions and play games and talk with each other and you know whatever and that became like a thing of Atlanta, like Dragon House is the place to go after the comp, you know, and
okay.
we did that for a while. So that helped. That definitely helped cultivate, you know, what we are today.
Blue, did you have anything you wanted to say on that?
Yeah, no, it was basically that. I came in right around like what I think like half a year after Joy moved in.
And how was that, Blue? How'd you come in?
Bro, so yeah. So I was having issues back at home and you know, me and family or whatever. So I basically like ran away and I hit up Glide and was like, yo, Glide, I'm basically pulling up. Like I'm pulling up over there. I didn't say what or what for. I mean, I told him a little bit, but he was like, yeah, no, come on through. And yeah, I basically was there when I showed up. I never left type shit. Glide kept going on about how I was still in Martian Clan, and he was like basically instigating shit with them, talking about some. We captured your greatest warrior.
Yo, I was recruiting Blue.
Bro,
was
that
like,
was
Blue.
no
All
for
right,
real.
you ain't doing nothing. Roll with us. Finish your shirt, your jersey.
For those that
Jersey.
These wings.
For those that don't know, because I also am not as familiar, what is Martian Clan? What was that?
So, so I started a high school dance crew. It was
Okay.
called UDO, Unidentified Dancing Objects. Basically, when we graduated, we started entering battles in the scene in Atlanta, and that's when we became familiar with the scene. We didn't even know there was a fucking scene. Like we was like, "Yo, people are battling. Like there's prize money and shit. Like yes, we're doing this." So we start practicing. We was like, "Let's take it serious. Let's come up with a name." So Martian Clan, I mean UDO. Martian Clan, it was like, let's keep it out, you know, let's keep it outer space vibes. So that, you know, Martian Clan became a thing. And then we started recruiting people that we saw, like Tech, we had ET, We had a couple. We had a lot of good people. We had Manic. We had some good hitters. We had some hitters. We had some hitters in our
It sounds
scene.
like okay, so Martian Clan was your first kind of group, and then it started to kind of merge into Dragon House in a sense.
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
So when I uh,
No. If I misspoke, I'm sorry.
not merged. No, no, no. When I say basically, it
Cherry
meant
pick.
it was like
Oh, I see.
Glide is
Wow, okay.
crazy.
they started to
Glide
cherry
is
pick up for
crazy.
sure. But it started
Okay.
off with me, and then we grabbed Tech and ET at the time.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so going back to Chibi, tell us about your perspective on the
Wait,
early.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Oh,
Luffy, no, wait. So I didn't just leave. He was like, wait, so he was the leader and left. So here's the story about that, real quick. So we basically weren't really treating it like how Dragon House, what I was pretty much introduced to the way of dance. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all were basically, it was like a lifestyle to you
mm,
guys, and to
Mhm.
us, it was more of a hobby. Like we just met up on
mm.
weekends. We would train. We would session. We would go out to the club, to the bars, dance a little bit, whatever. It wasn't really like, yo, let's really level up. Let's treat this like a lifestyle. Let's make money. Let's make a career out of this. And so I came to them with that and was like, yo, how do y'all feel about this? You know what I'm saying? I'm treating it like such and such. Y'all treating it like such and such. We had a whole debate about it. We had a whole discussion. Eventually, they agreed to cut ties. Not like as friends because we still friends to this day. In high school homes, but like as far as dance crew shit, we was just like, all right, you know, we had y'all have my blessing
Mm.
to what I'm saying, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's how it happened. Losing my bad.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, Chibi, anything you wanted to add to that perspective of the early days of Dragon House?
Uh, I mean, like a lot of it has already been like said, just like um, how like we just literally created like Dragon House. Like it's not just like, crew, but we had like everyone who we were close with in like just one house, basically. So, um, and it's just like amazing. We were just basically family.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It was like you guys created your own culture, like way of life, and that just became your like the identity. That's awesome. Yeah. So kind of going from like those early days and how like when was that point you touched on this a little bit, Cyrus, about like when you decided, oh, like we could this could be like a thing. Like we could actually like go to the next stage with this. Tell us about like I guess what were the things that you noticed that you started to think that way? And then how did you guys go about was it a conscious thing of like, okay,
Oh,
here's the plan, or was it more
I got you.
spontaneous? Yeah.
I got you. So this is something that actually helped because I had just started actually battling in the battle scenes. Because before that it was just like I said, I was just at parties, enjoying myself, and if anybody wanted to smoke, they get to smoke, you know how it goes. But that's just like, how it is. So when I got with Glide and Chibi and Keys, they kind of had just finished doing their marathons of battling. Like they were like on the tail end of like battle, 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 battle.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't think it was until we did How the West Was Won where everybody assembled again. Um, but I it was like we was when I got with them, we went to I think it was Charlotte or where did we go? We went somewhere out of
Charlotte, yeah.
town. Yeah, it was
Charlotte.
Charlotte. We had a battle there. And me and Freak, what did Freak come with us?
Yeah,
Me,
we're
you,
playing
Freak,
Ninja. Yeah.
Chibi, yeah. So like it was just a way for us to represent who we were without being like, oh, we remote control. Because Glide, Chibi, and Kiss can be like, oh, we remote control. Like, who are y'all? It was easier for us to say Dragon House at this point because like we were like, yeah, they will crew. That's us. Like we with them. Like
Right.
we with them. If you want smoke with us, you also got to know you getting smoke with them. Like it's a whole lot of heat over here. So it was easier for us to just transition that to being like Dragon House because we were going out of state, and we were starting like me and Freak were like they had us out there like hit the comps, hit the comps, hit the comps. Cause like Blue said this was a way to make money before like I went and got 2 jobs. This was the way to make some money. You know, like, hey, go hit a comp and win. Like
Yeah.
you gotta win. And you know, ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows. I have a positive record, by the way, which is great. But you gotta let them know, God. You gotta let them know. But it happened so fast because I always say this: there's no cipher or session like a Dragon House session or cipher. Like I've danced with so many people in this world, man, like in different ciphers, and like as far as like elevating yourself, like how I feel, I'm like, oh, I'm about to level up right now. Boom. It's only in Dragon House ciphers. Like
Wow.
it's only in and I've been in ciphers where I'm like, oh, this was cool. And I was like, man, I didn't feel too hot in this one. Like felt a little stale. Like, and it would be good, but I'm like, nah, that just wasn't me, you know. But then like when I'm in a Dragon House cipher is just like it's like just being summoned. It's like
Yeah,
glitch. It's like
Wow.
it's
yes,
literally like
bro.
when it's your time, it's like being summoned, bro. Like
Wow.
7 Dragon Balls. I summon glitch, and I'm just like, it's
Oh,
time. Like the
wow.
energy feels like that.
Yes,
The energy feels like that of a
that is
Dragon
facts, bro.
House, like not a recorded video cipher joint
Mhm.
like that. Like I'm talking about like a real session,
Like a
like where
real.
we used to session we had this big bathroom, right?
Bro.
You
The
could
big
put like
long ass
7 people
bathroom.
in there. I'm not joking. And we had this big bathroom, like 6, 7 of us, and it was just this long mirror, waist up mirror.
Mm.
So what we would do, this is crazy, but what we would do is glad I set the laptop up. That'd be the only light on in the bathroom, bro. So it got this like ambiance of like this like illusion, and we would all go in there and just be dancing to something. It didn't matter what the music was because we was always like, Chibi, what's the music? Chibi, where the music at? And
Yeah.
then because Chibi done downloaded the music already. So when Chibi, like I said before, like Chibi pops out, he knows every song, he killing it. We're like, we need to practice. So once that happens,
The
we
press.
then use the music Chibi smoked everybody to, and then we would laugh to it because that's what it was, bro. And it
Wow.
was just like we would then like push that, like, all right, we train every day. That's what it is. You train every day. Like like because there was so much dancing, like intentionally, I think that helped Dragon House culture become what it was. Because there was a lot of moments where we could be lazy, like you can be lazy because you just at the crib chilling. So we would game, but it would be community gaming. It wouldn't just be like, no, like on some to myself. It would be community gaming. Everybody's involved. And then we lab, like we had our solo sessions, obviously, but it was community lab and like, hey, Glide, you trying to lab? And or hey, Glitch, you trying to lab? And it's like we already know where the lab about to go. We gotta go to the bathroom, turn the ambiance on, like we sitting there, like we going in the mode or nah, bro. Like what are we doing? So like it was just so like it was so easy for us to like represent ourselves and be like, all right, we with them. This is Dragon House. So while we go and compete, while I'm going out there, that's Glitch. Oh yeah, Dragon House. That's Glitch from Dragon House. That's Glitch from Dragon House. That's Glitch from Dragon House. Oh, all right, bet. And then I started winning comps and it made it easier for people to like actually, I feel like in my opinion, like respect, like, he actually like that. Like he's
Mhm.
actually like that. It ain't just like these ain't just like, oh, some big-headed dancers. Like, no, he's nice. And because everybody knew Keys was fire. Like everybody knew Chibi was fire. So it's like they had a hierarchy in like the dance world, if that makes sense. Like in the dance community, it was just like, oh, all right. What's up, Keys? But everybody wanted to battle Keys because they knew he would be down to battle. They wouldn't win. You not, bro.
They
It was
wouldn't.
it took a lot. It took a lot for me to be like, hey, Keys lost. It took a lot, bro, because Keys is a different
Yeah, man.
battler outside of battles, like outside of like your conventional battles.
Right.
Most of the dancers we battled was at the clubs. And it was hard to beat Keys in the club.
Oh.
Trust me, I know. Glide knows. We
I've
know.
been smoked so many times by Keys, bro.
Man, but it's just like kind of how it was. And so I think going to the like not only being in the clubs and seeing all the dancers there, but like showing up at the competitions as Dragon House, winning competitions as Dragon House, like it like as Glitch, and then people knowing that oh that's Dragon House, and it's like oh snap, oh Freak just placed top in he Dragon House too, dang, and then like Dizzy in Dragon House too, dang, Boris in Dragon House, so it started becoming like like in the brackets, it was just like all the Dragon House on one side pretty much, and just like a bunch of the rest of the community on the other, and it just started feeling like that to the point where we started throwing our own jams because Shut Up and Dance and stuff, which was like a lot of bit because it was I couldn't even enter battles no more because people was like you entering, all right, I ain't battling. It was like, and that's Glide fault because Glide started telling me throw him on the grill, no seasoning. It was like smoke him. He was like, Glide was like, don't be nice because like he said, throw him on the grill, no seasoning, just cook him, just cook him. And so that's what I mean. That was like my mentality going into almost every battle because there was one battle I lost, and I know I should have won, and I said I won't lose another one for real. And I don't think I lost another battle until I came to LA. And then I found out was some politics here. But hey, neither here nor there. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that.
What happened?
Yeah.
But we got locked in. And I think the more locked in we were with battling and being present in a scene, the more dancers wanted to be a part of what like the family. Again, it wasn't just a crew, it was a family. So like the people that was hanging out, they saw how we was moving. Like Blue said, it was a lifestyle for us, not a hobby. So the people that was gravitating towards us, the people that are in a crew now wanted and wants this to be a lifestyle, not a hobby. So everybody took it serious. Everybody held dance on this pedestal and held like the idea of wait, I can make it as a dancer, like
yeah.
What does that mean? And then seeing success with remote control and seeing like, bro, they're booking gigs. This is what we want to do. We want to book jobs. We want to book jobs. This would be amazing. Like, but having the inspiration in front of you and seeing the work and like going with them on these trips. We went to Florida together. I think I did. That was my first time doing remote controls in Florida. I don't know who couldn't do it. I think it was Keys. Or was it Chibi?
It was Case.
Oh, okay, but we went to Florida, bro, and it was just like, whoa, I'm actually working as a dancer right now. Like this is crazy. And so it was stuff like that.
Oh, that's what we had I was there for that. Yo, in the elevator at that hotel, that's when I came up with the hip bar thing. Remember, I was dressed as the robot.
No, not that Florida trip. This was just me. This was Fort Lauderdale, I think, right?
Oh,
was it Fort Lauderdale?
It was us and ours, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like
Ars.
It was when I say it was like the first. It was like
I was there when y'all met Ars because I remember meeting Ars with y'all.
No, they've been signed, boy.
Oh, remote control.
Remote control. Yeah, y'all talking about remote control.
I'm talking about
remote
your
control.
I thought you was talking about your gig from Florida.
No. I'm talking about remote control. Remote control was like they didn't like there was no like in remote control there was no substitutes. It was these three guys, and you knew who they were, and they was in these suits. And then it was like, but if you can't work that, we got a sub. And I was like, hey, we got Glitch right here. And I was like, what's up? Let's do it. You know?
So remote control was the first like gig, the first gigs that you guys got were as remote control. And this was before So You Think.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
So was So You Think kind of your way of expanding that even further?
Yeah, for me, for all of us, really. We were at Cocktail Cove. It was a Sunday night. We were at Cocktail Cove. I think the audition was obviously on Monday morning. We was there, and at this point, our crew is our family is family. The crew is massive. We got branches now. We got branches. The house is massive. There's exclusive. Droid, Blue, me, Glide, Chibi, Keys, Tech, Bruiser was in, I think, at this time too, even E.T. Not Bruiser. Not Bruiser. Okay, Voltage was in at the time, probably. He had got out easy. We had was like Giggles, Freak, Baby T, Quincy, Gadget. It was, bro. Jack, oh my God, bro. It was we were in full effect. Exclusive,
Wow.
it was full effect.
Mhm.
Bam. Everybody was
Bam,
in it. Like it
bam,
just
the
kept
mother.
going. It was just so many of us at this point. Like we were like the crew of Atlanta. We like
Mm.
dance crew of Atlanta, that was us. Like that was as far as like our scene, what we do, because there was still Collision and Jungle Boogie and like those crews, but for us for the underground scene, it was us, like for what we did. And so KP came out to the club with us, but he don't go out with us like that. He don't go out with us like that. And KP popped out exclusive, and he was like, I'm going to So You Think in the morning. So he was leaving. He was leaving early. We was like, what's that? What you mean? We was like, cause also exclusive is so talented. He plays piano, he does stand-up comedy,
Mm.
and he was doing a college tour already. He was doing college tours already where he would go colleges. I did a couple shows with him. He'd do colleges and do stand-up comedy, play the
Mhm.
piano, and he danced. So he was signed to a
Wow.
whole different agent. He was already like
Yeah.
man of many talents. They called him Earthquake on So You Think You Can Dance. I'm just gonna say that. It was crazy. He can hit. He hits crazy.
Earthquake.
But what happened was KP was like, all right, I'm coming down. I'm going to So You Think in the morning. So then, bam, hey, let me get a ride. So then I was like, hey, man, let me get a ride. And then Boris and then Droid.
Mm.
And we were all thinking, like, okay, this could be our way to put our brand on TV. Like, we already Dragon House. These guys still working. Remote Control still working, but Remote Control is like Dragon House hasn't made the push yet at that point to be a crew to dance, a crew that dance like professional like that, right? We were still pushing the underground scene. We were still pushing like this. What we do. We don't come like I'm gonna book this. I'm gonna book that. Da da da. We're pushing YouTube videos, YouTube
Yep.
content. We had like Keys went viral.
Mhm.
Me gliding Keys went viral for louder dubstep. Like we just did so many things that we're pushing for people to see us and know like, hey, we're here. You can get in contact with us too,
Mhm.
right? So you think was never the plan was never to like be on the show or win the show.
Mhm.
It was to get my solos air. Like I want get my solo
Mhm.
air. Like see
Mhm.
my solo, see Boris solo, see Droid solo,
Yeah.
see KP solo. Like
Mhm.
see what we're doing so you can be like, oh dang, they're really good. Let's
Yeah.
book them,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the plan. And at this point, we're Dragon House already. So it was again, like I said, it was from battling. It made it so easy to us identify ourselves as a group versus like, all right, Glitch, Bluprint, Joy, like
True.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Of
It's just
course.
like okay, collective Dragon
Also,
House. You
I
know what
do
I'm saying?
remember at the time too, there was a lot of controversy going on within the dance community, especially with the OG poppers, as far as like what we were initially calling the style,
Yeah.
which was like
Mm-hmm.
animation. Then we reverted to popping animation, blah blah blah. But we was
Yep.
just eventually like, I know especially Glitch and them, they were like, no, we want to call it animation, and we're gonna put it on the map, and that's what they did on TV. It was like we call it animation.
Yes.
We're gonna have Cat Deely say animation on
Yeah.
TV. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Because they definitely tried to say pop it, and we were like, this is
Right.
animation because like Blue said, for the longest, because we were dancing a dubstep, which is crazy because I often tell people this. Dubstep just helped people digest and understand what we were doing.
Mhm.
We danced to hip hop music. We danced to hood music. Like we grew up on that. I danced to Wayne, put a Wayne track on, you getting smoked. That's what it
Like,
is. Like that's what it is. That's what we grew up dancing to. Dubstep made it easier for people to understand, see, and digest the actual movement of what we're doing. So then there was that whole epidemic of like, oh, this is dubstep dance, this is dubstep dance, and we
Yeah.
like, this is animation, but dubstep is the music. And often what
mhm.
people do is dance styles are branded based off of music, right? That's why
Right.
you got
Hip hop.
jazz and contemporary and ballet, because ballet goes to classical music and jazz goes to more jazz music, like or Broadway and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like all these different styles are based off of like music or musical themed ideas. So then like when it was dubstep and people never seen it, I
Yeah.
guess at this level, this like publicly or
Yep.
whatever, right? Because it's been done, but at this level, this publicly with this music. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's something new," and we're like, "Hey, it's the same thing. We
Yeah.
just nice one, and you can understand it because you can hear it. And when
Yeah.
you hear something, you can see it. If I'm making you see what you know what I mean, like we manipulate the
Of course.
music so you can see, that's a dancer, right? So
Yeah.
that whole thing, and so then we had poppers from the West, pretty much like y'all ain't popping, y'all ain't, and
Right.
I was like, damn, y'all hate, we
Yeah.
like y'all, we
Yeah. Yeah.
think
Yeah.
y'all cool,
Yeah.
we think y'all cool, but it was really like it was real hate, and it was funny because our first like big cruise situation traveling across was we drove 32 hours straight to LA from Atlanta to enter
No
how to
way. That's crazy.
West was one because we was tired of hearing everybody running their mouth. I'm serious. It was a lot of like
Yeah.
it was a lot because even like they was trying to set up battles with Keith and I think it was like Frantic and Keith and like, it was a couple people like it was just going crazy, but we was like, all right, bet. It was like, all right, bet. We got something for y'all. We was like, we gonna
So
look. We
why do you think that they had that reaction? Like, what was different from what you guys were doing and how you were doing it versus what they thought it should be, right?
well, I know for sure for one, like
The
none of
attention.
none of us besides Keith was like doing any boogaloo rolls or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that. So it was more, and we weren't in the box of like Sinbadding like them when we animating, right?
Mm.
So I feel like because it was different, because I'm gonna tell you this, when we came west and we battled and everything and we talked to people, that's when I met Chad for the first time. We all had seen Chad obviously because of Step Up 3D and just like him posting his Chromeo videos online. We all remember him being great. uh he's just amazing, but he said even he himself had to deal with them saying he wasn't popping.
Mm.
He lived in the west, he's from here, he's from
Mhm.
LA, so he was like, this isn't like, it wasn't exclusively for us. This is just what they how they felt about robotics and the way we're doing it because we were robotically animated, right? Like
Yeah.
most of us are like more robotically or droid like esque animation, and then everything else is like the seasoning on top. But it
Mhm.
was like I think because it was just so different. You know how people are when something is different, they reject it. You just reject it because it's like, oh, that's different, reject it versus being like intrigued, interested, show love. It just wasn't like that. So we went out west and we showed them we was really moving like that. Like we was really crazy. And they showed love though. They did. Once we got out there, they showed love. People was like, dang, y'all way better than we thought. There was an interesting situation because like we're very vocal in the A. Like we go whoa when somebody do something fire, when somebody do something dope, and they weren't ready for that energy. Like we
Oh
were
yeah. Okay.
loud. Yeah, we were
Uh,
loud. So they thought we were booing. They thought we were booing for a while, and then we were like, no, 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 no. It's blah.
you missed it.
That's exciting.
Wow.
Oh, hey, baby.
Yeah.
The baby
Um,
just got home.
so yeah, that makes sense. And when you say they, you're talking about poppers?
Yes, poppers
Yeah.
from the West. Poppers
Specifically
from the
Okay.
like
West. Yeah.
OG poppers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah,
what?
like
It was certain. It was specific OG poppers too.
yeah,
Yeah.
real quick to piggyback off of Glitch.
Yeah.
What he was, yeah, like I think at least from what I saw is that because our first of all we didn't have like any popping like OGs in Atlanta. Like there are some people who or a couple people who say they are.
We got Master
Um,
Pop.
hey,
Stop
Blue,
that. Stop that, Blue.
don't
We
get
got
me
Mike
started.
Watson. We got Mike
We
Watson.
do got Mike Watson and Tick and Tony.
And Ticket
Yeah,
Tony.
Yeah.
Mm.
but I mean at the time, like I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, now, yeah, I mean I'd say the OGs now, but like at the time we weren't really like OGs like that, so
Hmm.
we didn't have like a structure that we followed. We didn't have like like some type of universal or fundamental like way of moving. It was a lot of it was just projection, imagination. So we were lacking a lot of like traditional context within popping, like as far as like like your typical steps or type of angles and stuff like that. Because we didn't have that type of structure, there was no one. It made us all look very different from each other, which is good. But two, because we focus more on animation, and while, as you know, animation came from popping, animation, I feel like because of how much it grew from the attention that was brought to it, I feel like it evolved into its own thing, and that was there's never really been a conversation about that for real, but like it is. If you objectively looking at it, it grew into its own entity where like people are just, oh, I
Mhm.
want to learn animation. They don't want to learn popping. They just want to learn
Hmm.
animation.
Hmm.
So and popping with popping is really like what stands out from other styles is the hitting. So we're doing a lot of our movements. We're not like we hit, but a lot of times we don't. Like for like certain sequences, certain whatever. And especially with dubstep music, where it has like has the big build up, the drop, then sometimes like a low bridge with nothing going on, and you have nothing but like air to kind of dance with before the
Hmm.
next drop.
You're right,
So
right, right.
that's how that formula kind of formed. And like let's say like because the music, and then people, the masses look at it like you said, it's dubstep dancing. It was coin term dubstep dancing. We never coin termed it that.
Yep, yep, yep.
Dubstep dancing is not a style. It is a coin term for what we were doing, which was animating to dubstep music.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was even called popping animation at one point is because these are all elements from popping that we're essentially taking and just creating a whole different style within itself, which is why a lot of people, when they do come to us or go to YouTube to learn animation or what was popping animation at the time, we always let them know, yo, you need to
Hmm.
learn foundation. You need to learn popping. You need to learn angles. You need to learn this and that because this is where it come from. These are the roots. So we always gave popping its flowers. You know what I'm saying? That's where it derived from. Animation is from popping because all of these elements, whether it's waving, gliding, tutting, whatever, is all from popping. So essentially, it's popping animation, but it became animation because of the way we, like Glad said, interpreted to music and how we differentiate from different popping characters. We have our own set of characters. We have our own set of traits. We have our own personalities that we throw into popping. I mean, throw into animation, and then we just go deeper into it, like different wave paths, different ticking techniques. You know what I'm saying? Different body characteristics. You know, it just became deeper to where now this is not just umbrella terms anymore. This is a whole style. This is a whole
Hmm.
entity. You know what I'm saying? So that's when animation became like, okay, this is a rooted style. This is a whole thing, and we are the ones pushing it. So let's go deeper into it. So when it is time to teach, we know what the hell we're talking about, and we're teaching the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
And
also like to. I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, but I also like to educate that, um, at least in my humble perspective, is that I see animation as more of a technique than a style. I feel like a style creates parameters around it, and while
Mhm.
animation, yeah, you can add animation to almost any type of movement, anything that
Yeah, it's a layer
requires
for
like
sure.
air or whatever. But like it's hard to other styles don't fuse in the same way. Animation, you can animate like just like with crumping and flexing, and or you can animate ballet, you can animate river dance, like you can animate anything. So
Yeah,
it's more like an additive and like like or a
that's what
technique.
makes the style so unique, though. Like it's even more than just a layer. Like you said, it's a layer, it's a style. Like that's, but I feel like it's the most unique style. Like that me and Flash and them talk about this all the time. Like how well it is integrated in other styles, like how you can just
Right.
integrate over literally anything. Like I know a bunch of ballet dancers that do it. Like my boy Nico out here, that was the first contemporary dancer, not my bad, not ballet, but contemporary dancer that did that. And I was just like, what? You can do that with contemporary? Then I see crump dancers doing it. I
Yeah.
see hip hop dancers over in UK doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how unique it is. I do think though, a lot of the people that do it now, like today, don't really understand I guess, like the deepness of the depthness of it, like the terminology and what they're actually doing. They just know I'm moving fast, I'm stopping fast.
Because
You
they,
know what I'm saying?
but I feel like that has an effect of like not knowing foundation, popping foundation.
Popping
I, I
foundation.
I really believe that, like, Colin, we've had many conversations where I always say popping is foundation of animation. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We need it. We need it for this to, I think, to be at certain levels, right? And I think we've all, each of us here, at least, I know the Dragons, have in one segment of their training solely focused on popping. nothing else.
That's
Like
facts.
I remember going like I used to write it down. Me and Droid used to write down hit drills with each part of our body, and that's
Mm,
popping. Hit drills. Boom, boom,
Literally.
boom, 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 boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
Bro, me and
boom,
Glide used to
boom,
be
boom,
in the
boom.
room,
Like
boom, 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 boom,
literally.
boom, 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 to a whole like 6 minute
Yeah.
songs just
Yeah.
doing this, bro, and then just switching it up, just doing popping drills. Yeah,
It
100%.
it
And the
sounds
last thing I'll
like
say, real quick, last thing I'll say, which is kind of a fun fact, the animation that, in case it comes up later, the animation that inspired us, like how originally animation came from claymation, the
yeah.
animation that inspired a lot of us is actually like CGI, Pixar stuff
Um,
like that. Like, so we actually we didn't watch like claymation films and develop from
yeah.
that. We looked at like modern or up to date animation and grew from that. So that I think that attributes to why a lot of our styles are so different as well.
Bro, remember we was watching a YouTube video of one of us, I think it was like glitch or something, and the video started buffering, and we was all like, nigga, we can
Mm,
move like that.
That's
We
funny.
was even taking inspiration from buffered videos,
yeah.
like
That's
from
funny.
buffered YouTube videos.
Yeah.
We can move like a buffer YouTube video.
So yes, that makes sense. You guys were kind of responding from the technology that you had growing up, which is obviously different than what they had in the 60s, right?
Right.
Uh, but so had you heard the term animation being used in dance before you guys were calling your style animation?
Not necessarily, not for me anyway.
Okay.
It was always popping or popping locking.
Okay. Okay.
Well, again, I shrimp, so I look shrimp, Boogaloo shrimp. He was animating, so
But what were they calling it that? Was he calling?
I feel like he was. I
If
feel
he was
like
calling it that, then
I
I
yeah,
think he
mean,
was. I mean, they were calling it popping and locking.
that's
yeah.
when
They were
that's when I said popping
because
and
here's
locking.
the thing, shrimp was like if shrimp if he was in today's era or age, right? Grew up in like today. He was good at everything.
Yeah,
Like in the movie, he was doing it all like at a decent level, bro. Like, I mean, he was animating at a high level, bro. When he hit that ping, 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 ping,
Yeah.
ping, ping,
Yeah.
ping,
Yeah. Yeah.
ping,
Yep. Yep.
ping, bro. I'm
Yep.
still like he's smoking people with that round, bro. He's smoking
no,
people with that
no,
round.
no cap.
But then he would like, he would break and do his six step, his rock. He was rocking, it was fire. Like he could do windmills. It was like stuff like we don't do that. We hey now. Like Chad surprised me because Chad was doing that. Like man, Chad to pull out some windmills. I be, hold on,
Oh,
Chad.
Yeah.
But because he's so
Yeah.
animated, like you don't expect him to be like, all right, boom. But like
yeah.
that was like shrimp generation where they was like, hey, they were kind of he was so fine at this, that, like, and he still had that. Even like Pop and Pete, like those guys were so good at this that you'd be like, oh, y'all like this. But then they had that. You're like, oh, hold on now.
Okay. Yeah.
So
It kind of sounds like you guys were taking the techniques of popping and like pushing them to the extreme, right?
Yeah,
Like you take
yeah.
like a hit and you see how many different parts of the body that you can hit, how much muscle control you can add to it, or like you take a wave and you see how small you can make it, or you see
yeah,
how many different
100%.
types of ways like you can play with it. Whereas the poppers were more focusing on the music and the groove. You
I
guys are
would just say
focusing
more
on,
traditional.
say
I
that
would
again,
just say they were more
Yeah,
more
traditional.
traditional.
exactly. It was more
Yeah,
traditional, more combo.
because there's no animation without music and movement. Like
Mhm.
there's, you know what I mean? So like I don't it's like for me, like even like Chibi, it's not that he just so good, like because it's not that he's just so good. It's because he makes you hear every sound
Yes.
clearly,
Yeah.
and when that sound is done, that
And
movement is
It's
done.
done.
yeah.
And so like it's like that is the layer in which I feel like mostly all of the dragons, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think all of us, but mostly all of the dragons
Mostly.
really excel at is musicality. So I can't say like a popper's focus on music while we focus on technique. No, I think
Okay.
I think we were forced to focus on both,
Yeah, like
and
let's
I
say
think
it's more the foundation. It was more traditional, and we just go at a non-traditional. We just want a
approach,
non-traditional path. Yeah,
like I didn't start by popping where they like well, I feel like West Coast started popping, moved in animation.
Mm.
if you will, right? We started just dancing. Me and Blue, at
Yeah,
least, we started just party
just straight
dancing,
up
and then just
Yeah.
doing whatever to
in the middle of
whatever.
this, throw a wave in there.
Throw a wave in that
You know
dot
what
one
I'm
more
saying?
time, what?
It was
And
literally.
so then I feel like then we, once I saw, oh, whoa, you can really move different. I think applying though like that idea and to what we were doing already, because like I don't know how, but I always could hit. I just always had that kind of fast twitch muscle control,
Mm.
right?
Love from that.
So I've always had that. I mean, I grew up playing sports my entire life, so I was not like being familiar with my body wasn't something new, right? Like it was something I feel like most of us at some degree we were like, all right, I know my body, right?
Hmm.
I know my body. Like Glide grinded to get them legs the way they are. We all, and if you watch, I'm gonna tell you this: if you watch every dragon besides Keese and Chibi, every dragon that glides even a little bit, it came from Glide.
Mm.
Yep.
I'm not joking. We all
Every
got that little
single
sweep,
dragon.
that little dragon sweep. I'm calling it a dragon sweep now because Glide did it. And we all do it because of him. It's little things
Literally, bro.
like that kind of was like circulate in Dragon House. Like we would, because we are inspired by each other. That's why I said like Labbing wasn't just like a walk in the park. We were very critical with each other. Like bro,
Hey,
that
Chris,
that was
my
kind of
bad.
whack.
We ain't ignoring you.
And that was kind of whack, you know what I mean? So like we didn't sugarcoat anything when it wasn't fire. It was like if it's whack, it's whack.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean? So
that's another big factor I get asked a lot. Like, how were y'all in the sessions with each other? Were y'all critical? Yes. Like if it was whack, it was whack. If it
If
was
it
fire,
was
fire.
trash, we'd be like,
If
hey,
it was
bro,
trash,
that
we
ain't
not
it, bro.
you're not getting a
yeah, you not
there
yeah.
there was no sympathy bulls. You know, there was none of that. There was none of
No
that.
sympathy, no sympathy praise, man. It was like, but it was love, but it was still serious, but it was
It was
love. Like
for
we
real.
wasn't like, no, we weren't mean, no dickheads about it. Sometimes we was, but now, you know what I mean? It was like,
You
hey,
know?
bro,
It's like,
like,
yo,
hey, yo, like you just know, like
Yeah.
if
you
you
know who
wasn't
to approach and how
if
to
you
approach.
wasn't
Like,
in that session, if you wasn't, you'd be like, oh shit, okay. But that's what I'm
mhm.
saying. The ascension happens, bro. I feel like when you start feeling like it's like something just start boiling and you like, okay, I gotta push because I need them to react. Like
Yeah.
I need
That,
them to know
that,
I'm working hard too.
Yeah.
And then
that.
there's an ascension, boop, and then everybody like, okay,
Oh,
that last one, you went crazy. Like it would be like that. It was like, hey, yo, that last song was kind of nuts. Like so it was a brotherhood, but it was like we were critical about each other because also we know we not always together. Like some people go out, some people don't. We know we're not always together, so it'd be like, bro, don't get caught lacking. And like
yeah.
it got to that at one point because everybody, bro. I remember at one point I couldn't even show up to a comp to just be there, not even to compete without people wanting to battle me. Because people had like, I'm a beat glitch, man.
Mm.
I mean, it was one kid I had to smoke over and over and over. And it was like, bro, let me just enjoy
Bro,
the comp. I'm just trying to show up, watch, and enjoy at this point. You know what I mean? Like, y'all don't let me battle for real. So let me just enjoy it like everybody else.
Yeah.
I want to be a spectator, but I don't know, man. I think
All right.
I
So
think
if y'all see Glitch at a jam, don't try to battle him. He just wants to.
I just want to chill.
keep it pushing. Dap him up,
I'm just trying to chill, man. I'm just
dap him
trying to
up,
chill. You
keep
see
it
me at a
pushing.
comp? Let me chill.
We
Let
ain't
me
let him do
be.
that last time. We owe you that. We last time he actually won though. So
No,
Yeah.
actually,
Well.
no. Last time that happened.
Yep.
Last
Yep.
time that happened, bro, I tried to go to a comp and
yeah,
chill, show some love. Y'all did let me get away with one though. Y'all did. The first make y'all let me get away. I went there. I was
you
able to
know
just chill, relax,
exactly.
because it was so many dragons battling
Word.
that I
This
went
one
under the
too.
radar. I went
Yeah.
and I showed up late, so I knew I was safe. I knew I was safe.
Hey
I
man, but at least
knew.
it's over with now. You can enjoy yourself, hopefully.
Yeah, man. But
Uh,
no, yeah, that's crazy.
but
Yeah.
yeah. The last thing that I wanted to ask before shifting back to like the conversations around animation today, I wanted to ask. very succinctly, what are the qualities of a dragon that you guys look for?
That's a very big question.
That's
Go
so
ahead,
big. It's changed over time.
Yeah.
One is the standards. I mean, as we grow and our perspective broadens, what we see is going to standards are going to raise. But initially, it's really about how you fit in the space. Like if you come to the Dragon House space, wherever that's at, whatever it's 5 of us, 12 of us, whatever it is, when you come to that space, if you can just jump in the water and start swimming, more than likely, it's meant to be. But if there's any type of any type of observation that we make that like sets off a flag in any way. And it's not even like it's not like we're like actively like looking to recruit people. It's almost like it's a feeling. Like we meet someone, and it's like they just fit. Like a lot of the dragons that came like to the department, especially department days, it was that they matched the energy, like they fit. And then later it became more. And there's a joke that's like, oh, if you got a lot of followers, you go
more
viral.
strategic. Y'all did. Y'all did. In this era, I really
one person
around.
One person. It was one.
In this era, I wasn't really around because I was out here busy doing stuff. I come back, there's a whole new roster. And I'm the mean dragon. I'm the mean dragon as far as like I'm gonna say somebody whack first.
Yeah, Glitch was the mean one, but I was more of the gatekeeper. I was more of like the you had to like win my vote. People would be like, "Yo, I want Iglide, I want to get so and so in the crew." Thing, I'd be like, "No, hell no," or I'd be like, "Who's that?" Or and we kind of have this like vetting process of sorts. It's a very outdated model. We don't have to regurgitate.
I was the attack dog. I was Glide's attack dog. Glide would be like, I don't know about him, Glitch. I'm like, hey, you want me to see? You want me to tell him he's not good? I can tell him he's not good, Glide. I can just tell him if that's what you want me to tell him.
Yeah, but also a lot of times it would be like, I mean, and it has a commonality with like, oh, you're just so good. But a lot of it, like when someone's like just highly skilled, right? Like we don't know them that well, but we've run across them multiple times, whatever. But they're of great skill. That skill will inspire us to invite you to exchange knowledge, and then during that during that exchange and that process, we learn like, oh, they're also one of us. It's almost like finding people from your old like tribe. Like it's almost like fit. Like
I see.
Yeah, like one big one like Taylor. Like when Taylor came to the house in Sandy Springs, she just fit. It was like, yo. And then the conversation just spawned around it, and then that's what it is. And that's what happens with a lot of it. Like almost everyone, like there are a few exceptions where it's kind of like, whatever, but like a lot of it was like just that you just come in and that's what it is. And then some people, like recently, like Yaya, like we've known about her for years, and we've always thought that she does amazing work, and she's also like clearly a passionate lover of animation and wants to push the movement. So she's of the same mind as us. Like she's just like a dragon from another land. So
that was a no-brainer.
When Blue put her in the crew, and while that he did bypass the process, that Glitch and I agreed is outdated anyway, because we don't live together, so there's no way we can have that stupid process. Yeah. It was like a yes, because like a lot of us wanted her in the crew already. Like, yo, y'all so dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, we literally fangirl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like y'all got the crew? Oh,
say less. And it was so bad, bro, because we was like, you gotta talk to the crew first, because like one of the dragons was like, hey man, like I'm cool, but you gotta talk to the dragons first. I was like, yeah, you do. But hey, welcome to the crew. Like, nobody cared.
When Blue told me this, I couldn't be mad because the news was so good.
News was so good. But also to piggyback like what Glide was saying, is like from the origin of Dragon House, it was like just being good at whatever you doing. And that's how I think early days dragons, we had people in Dragon House who weren't necessarily dancers. They were just really good at whatever they did. You
Yes.
know, so we had people in Dragon House that would, because it was family. You know, it was family community based. Like it was, and so then the shift really happened once we start being more like solely specifically dance driven, and trying to like magnify that lens on Dragon House. I think that's when we started to get more critical about who we let in. And that, like Glad said, it had to be a personal, like we had to have a relationship with you. It wasn't just like, oh, he fine, let him in. It was like
Mm,
he's hanging out with us, he been kicking it with us, he's been training, we see him growing, we see their like their wheels turning
mm,
to get better, to progress, and seeing the progress. Because we've had people come over and go through almost that whole process and never become a dragon because we was like, you're not getting better.
mm.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
hey,
That's
hey,
Glitch's version.
hey, no, but that's a real thing because people train. We know a lot of people who train and dance, but don't actually get better because they're not training and focusing on the right thing. They just want to either be good or they don't take it serious, right?
Yeah.
So it's like just having to like, like that's why it was so difficult to get in Dragon House because it was like having to have a balance. Once it became this process, it it became like you have to be at this certain level mentally. Like you didn't have to be the best. We had to see the potential and we had to see progression happening.
Hmm.
And I mean everybody else speak for themselves. Like Bluprint wasn't fine like he is now. That's just a fact. He had just started dancing really.
And he was biting. Remember that,
He was
Blue?
biting.
I was by him.
And it's okay, but like
But they saw the potential.
we all started dancing mimicking someone, right? Like whoever we looked up to, you know?
Yeah.
And so
In that lean.
it's just it's just like
Instinctive.
yeah, it's instinctive the way it formed. It was so organic and it was just like they're working hard, they really want this. We see progression, they got the right mind. If they want to be, it's like, should we ask them?
Mm.
This is because people wasn't like once we became who we were, then people was like, "Hey man, y'all still recruiting Dragon House?" Y'all, nah.
Yeah,
We would
no.
just say no. We would just say no because we never were like let's recruit. We're never in a let's recruit like
Mhm.
mindset. We were just like, "Hey y'all, so and so been rocking and da 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 da,"
Like
and it's
we knew
like,
who we wanted, and then if you came across and you were
yeah,
nice, it was like, oh shit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Again, it goes back to the culture of it,
yeah,
the community, and if you feel that they would be a good addition, right?
hmm
And a way to um expand that without losing what it initially meant to you guys,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I think, yeah, this was great learning about kind of the more about what Dragon House means, and I think there's a lot of lessons in there that people can take today. And so shifting towards more today, right? And I know this can be a lengthy conversation, so we can try to make it as succinct as possible. Um, But what are your thoughts on, because as you know, with these events coming up, Udemy and Animation Week and all these battles that are promoting animation again, people are, you know, curious. They're asking questions about what are we talking about when we mention animation and dance at an animation dance battle? What does that mean? You know, like what type of music do we dance to, or what makes us different than poppers? What makes us different than other types of street dance and things of that nature? Um, what are your thoughts on those conversations? And if you want to share a bit of your perspectives on it, feel free.
What's your question?
What are your thoughts on what the conversations that we're having today? What are your thoughts on them about thinking about honing in on what is animation? Is it a dance style?
Mm.
Things like that.
Well, the first thing is that I love that animation is really come back to the forefront. Like I'm
Yeah,
seeing all these events, I'm following these events. I am following Animation Week, and there's other event like there's an event in Russia, Back to the Future, and there's
yeah,
other stuff. I'm like searching for animation events, and I find them, and I watch almost all the battles, the prelims, like, and it's just good to see it happening again, see people doing it, see the craft being shown and promoted. I love that. I think the difference in animation and popping is, and really the same. It would be the same with difference in most styles, like we discussed earlier. Is that it's application. It's the way you know, like I said, you can't really. There are other styles that you just not that just don't intersect because there's conflict of what those barriers are, those parameters. You know what I'm saying? But with animation, there is no limitation to that. So I think it's so broad and so expansive and potentially like endless. I think that it keeps the forum of the conversation just open. How to how to define it. And I've had a few talks about this on my page with Robot Law and Clocks, and just how to really define animation. It's hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, without saying looking fake, because then looking fake is subjective. So how do you know what I'm saying? How do you quantify that? How do you make that universal metric? So really, just objectively, like for me, animation is if you appear, yeah, I guess if you look fake. I do like the definition of how you dance with controlling time. I think that does do a lot of work in the direction of its definition, but I still think there's more beyond that. But really put simply, if you want to just if you want to look at all those logistics and stuff, but I think put simply, it's looking fake. If you look fake, if you look anime, like you can look at something and tell whether it looks fake or it looks real. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you're able to successfully trick the human eye into believing what it's seeing, I think you're successfully animating. And within that context.
Yeah. Blue, did you want to share something?
No. So I noticed that. So you said, basically, like, what do I think about the conversations being had today, like, as far as like animation?
Yeah.
My experience out here, like living in LA the past, 6 years. Damn,
it's been long, man.
Been for a grip now, boy. Well, because technically, because I moved there in 2016, blah blah blah. Anyway, been in the scene for about 6 years now, steady, and hearing the talks on animation and like even seeing it's still more so on in my perspective, like I classify it as more so like how pop-in animation was classified back when we were first starting animation. It's still very traditional, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's not like how we do it. It's not like how Dragon House, the whole Dragon House movement was doing, you know what I'm saying, or is doing it still. It's more so a traditional route where it's still evolving in itself. I do feel like, because if you look at it back when we were talking about it versus now, it's definitely way better. More people are doing it. So it's definitely evolved. It's just still not the same path as we're taking in animation. You know what I'm saying? Especially out here. When I see it out there in like the East Coast, or even out in the UK or overseas, I see it how more so like how we do it. But then again, those are people that grew up watching us. But when I see it out here, the people that have that know us, but they don't watch us to learn animation from us. They respect our craft. They respect how our approach on it, but they don't do it like us. They still have that traditional approach, but it has also evolved. So I still respect it. I just also think it's still a different form of animation. It's still animation, just in a different form. You know what I'm saying? So that also makes Glock point really clear when he says that animation is more than just a style. That's what makes it more so unique, because it's more of a layer, and you can just layer it over anything. And that's what I feel like a lot of poppers do, because I feel like if you really think about it, maybe it's popping that's evolving and animation is still just a layer over that. And that's what they're portraying out here on the West Coast.
So, okay.
My take on that.
Yeah, so just so I'm understanding, so you're saying that you're kind of seeing like a new convergence in the style, like a new direction that it's going?
Not necessarily new. I would say a more evolved version of the old style. So when I said pop animation, is basically where we derive our style from and grew it to where it is now. But that style still existed. We didn't change the style as a whole. That style still
Hmm.
existed, and dancers still existed in that time, in that style, and still grew with that. So I feel like that is the more evolved version that we're seeing today versus
Mm.
just our style. You get what I'm saying?
And what's the thing that's kind of like separating what you're describing as what's happening today and like what you're
The whole traditional approach. So like it's still you still see popping in it. You don't see popping in our style. You know what I'm saying? When you see me go
okay.
out on the floor,
Mm.
you don't see popping in my style. You don't see foundation. You don't see the traditional route. When you see Frantic go, when you see Slim Boogie go or anime, when you see
Oh, okay.
anybody else who's
Hmm.
out here, you see that. You see popping in their style. You see the
Okay.
traditional route that they still take in their animation style. That's the whole difference that I see or notice.
I see. I see. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah,
I want to say tradition. I would say more like
that's a good
fundamental,
analysis,
I
though.
guess.
You
But
know,
like, because
well, for
Frantic
lack
and
of a
Slim
better
are
word, I
very
say
unique.
traditional because when Glitch was explaining it before, um, the whole traditional popping, the whole foundation where that comes from, it's still rule kind of rule based. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Oh,
Where it
the
has to
elements
be.
are a lot more visible. I see.
You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why I use the word traditional because it still has that foundation in their whole animation style.
Hmm.
All right.
You know,
Would you say it's almost like the difference between because something that I've always said is there's people like using robot for example. Sometimes it looks like someone is doing the robot and it looks like someone is a robot. So like the difference is it's like you're seeing people that like poppers or lockers doing animation versus an animator doing animation.
Yeah, being animated
Yeah. Yeah.
in a
in a
sense.
sense,
In a sense.
Okay. Okay.
because you can an animation dancer from out here can still say they're animating and believe it. They're like, no, I'm an animator, nigga. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to us, it's like it looks different,
It
but
looks like
it's
popping
still
animation. It's
it,
animation for sure,
it's
but it's
still
little
animation.
popping
But we
animation.
exactly so,
Yeah.
but to them, it's still animation. So I feel like it's still all animation, just done differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we consciously try to remove as much of the human element as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Like as opposed to like,
And
oh, I'm a dancer of this style and I'm adding animation to my style. We just, oh, I am this character. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Mm.
kind of like our approach.
So you
Right.
start with the character in mind that is
Mm-hmm.
that in its nature is like fake or unreal, right?
Which
And you build it around that.
which
Right.
makes sense to why LA or West Coast or anybody who's adopting this style of animation looks more like that, more like the whole traditional route because they're starting off with that style. They're starting off with the mindset of
Mm.
popping, you know what I'm saying? And then they go into animation where our base is animation. Our base is
Mm.
that character. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it's a little different on the approach of it.
Okay. Okay. So just so I can make sure that I'm understanding, instead of coming at it from the lens of a style and animating the style, it literally just starts with like a character or persona or an idea, and
Yes.
and you go from there. Okay, that makes sense. Cyrus or Chibi, did you have any additional comments on there? I have another question that's kind of a follow-up, but
Um, my perspective in like just animation has like probably like changed over time. And I think like, and I've been trying to dissect like basically what I consider like animation. And I think a lot of it because like when the question just keeps coming back and back again and again of like what is animation, you know, people are trying to like figure out, okay, is this animation, is that animation? And then like it got to a point where like I just decided, okay, I'm just going to remove every style that's associated with animation, like, you know,
Mm.
stroking, ticking, you know, just, you know, everything. And then just kind of from the bare bones, just like, okay, what techniques is like what I need to like be animated, you
mm,
know?
Mm.
And like
Mm-hmm.
when you kind of think back into like just the like where animation, like how, you know, especially like with OGs, like how they like been inspired by watching like, you know, movies with stop motion. It's
yep.
like that's kind of like where that main inspiration is, you know? And then
Mm.
like you also get like kind of the animatronics that comes along because like basically the essence of like animation as far as like we go going down as like the inspiration is like from like what in filmmaking how like practical effects how it's used in order to bring something to like any creature that you don't see like in like real time.
Mm,
So, and for me, like at first it was like just, like the creature itself. But then like as far as if I want to like kind of explain like animation. It's not about the what
mm,
you are is like what you're doing. It's kind of like the how you like do
mm.
it. It's like how you bring something to life, basically. So a lot of it, like, you use like kind of dime stops, you use kind of like speed changes. It's kind of like, yeah, like when it's already said that like the what was it? Like the manipulating the time,
Mm, mm,
like that also plays a part with like, just how you can be animated. And like I think like when we separate like us from like poppers, like popping is kind of like, gets to be more of a groove, just kind of like, dancing, and like for animation, we kind of like we have a different way of writing the music, basically.
yes.
Like um and I think like that's why with like dubstep, because like it's not just like a, like did, that kind of thing. Or like even like electro, music,
Yeah,
electro funk where like it has like that did. But like for us, we like to really dissect like the music where we can like hit the beats within those like, within those patterns. So
yeah,
I think like for us, like um if going into like animation like it's like just how we're basically we just bring something like different in terms of like just not just like movements but also how we move to the music basically. So
for
um
sure. Yeah, it's almost like the difference between dancing to a song versus literally like
Becoming a song.
the sound is
Embodying the
there
song.
because you're moving, right? Like you
Yes.
literally are the song. And I know for me that's something that attracted me to your style, to your guys' style of animation. I was like
Mhm.
I can literally see the music in ways that I
Mhm.
didn't know possible. So yeah. Cyrus, did you have anything to add?
Well, just on the basis of just like, yeah, the conversation of like what is animation, like
Mm,
I know it's popping up a lot. And I mean, for me, I'm a little old school with it. Like I do think kind of in a similar fashion of like what Blue said and what like Chibi was saying is like the basics of it is from like clay animation, like stop motion. So I think I think it's difficult to like I don't know. I feel like it's gonna always be repetitive in this sense if we continue to ask, because it's like we get an answer, but like is it that the answer isn't good enough for people, or is it that they don't want that to be the answer? Because like we ask a question, we get an answer, and then we're like, okay, and then ask the question again. It's like, are you searching for a different answer? So that's the only reason why I'm like, we got a couple OGs out here. Like I always say, like do your research
yeah.
and like because everybody animation is different. Dragon House is very, very, I think, unique in like we're Dragon House because we embody different.
Mm,
Like all the dragons dance differently. Like we all just dance differently. And I think that's what makes us like so cool, right? Like, oh, they're so cool because they da, da, da. Yeah, we all can dance to this and we dance into it different and it all look good and it all at a high level. Like, so it's like I think that's where Dragon House strength is in our like versatility and our diversity. I feel though it's you who you look up to is who you should be asking questions to, right?
mm,
I think, right?
mm.
Like for me, it was Shrimp. So when I got to talk to Shrimp, now I'm like, I told him he was the reason I started dancing like this and and he was like, you know, I don't know if you ever met him, but he's he's like animated as a human being, like wow, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
like animated in that way, right? And so when he was talking to me and breaking down like the way his mind worked, it was reflective to what I already understood. And I knew it was still different, but I understood. Oh, I see how you got. I know that's how I would have got there, right? And so while I'm talking to him, to me, that's my inspiration. My inspiration, I want to know what they know, what they doing, right? And he a OG, like Shrimp's an OG. He one of the old heads.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is, right? So I'm like, if I was in today's generation, right? Say, like, how old are you? Like, maybe what, 25 now?
Me?
24? Yeah,
26.
26, right? Dang, I'm old. Uh, but
Man, don't.
dang. But like, so you say if you look up to me and I'm like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. What's animation to you? Because I feel like the teaching of animation isn't like I can teach you techniques. Everybody can teach techniques, right? But those techniques alone aren't gonna make you fire animation. Like it's not gonna make your animation me wanting to watch it, right?
Mhm.
Because it can turn into, no offense, but popping, right?
Mm,
How everybody has the same foundation of popping and do it the same one way, but animation isn't like that. Animation can be so personal. It is so personal, all right? So that's why I like when I teach animation, like when I teach like to a group of animators, not when I teach the people who don't know animation. Like when I teach to people who don't know, I teach them a little bit of animation techniques with grooves and stuff they can do, right? So they don't feel overwhelmed. Because I do think if you're breaking down animation to somebody who don't do animation, it can blow their heads up. Like it literally can just like your brain melt because it's so much information because it's so technical, right?
yeah.
Hey, but but I often feel like when I'm teaching animation, I just want to help you be you, not be me.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to teach you how to do glide. I'm not trying to teach you how to dance like Chibi. I'm not trying to teach you how to dance like Glitch. I want you to dance like Colin, like Cybot, right? So that's how I mean, I got some youngins like Hermes. Like I trained him.
Yeah.
But nobody would be like, "Oh, you train him because he doesn't
Yeah.
dance like me." But I train him in a sense of I'm coaching him how to be himself,
Yeah.
how to be himself because that's what ultimately what you want to do. You want to be yourself, right? And so if I'm you, I ask me, oh, da, 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 how'd you get into it? Who taught you? Blah, blah, blah. No one? Oh, wow, interesting. Cool, cool, cool. Who'd you look up to? Shrimp? Oh, okay, boom. Go do research on
Yeah.
shrimp because that's your lineage, right? It's
Yeah.
like take any anime, right? Take any anime. There's always the number one hero and then the number two. Two different paths. Naruto, Sasuke. Like two different paths. He trained, he got the Uchiha clan in his blood, right? Like Naruto got Hokage in his blood. Who would have thought, right? But it's two different paths that don't like. There's no reason for Sasuke to train like Naruto because he got different equipment. He got a Sharingan. Like it's just like so it's like and like
Yeah.
that's just the reality, right? In animation, I feel like don't try to consume everyone's animation.
Mm,
You're not all for
yeah.
one, right? Like don't try to consume everyone's animation because
Yeah.
what then happens is you will leave empty. You
Mm,
will leave feeling like I don't know what this shit is. I
yep.
don't I don't know what this is. Don't try. You can always enjoy. You can always like be in the energy of it. But as far as the conversation goes, what's animation? What's animation? I think there's an answer out there. I think it's already been stated. I think it's been stated over and over. I think the more y'all try to, but, I think that's cool for your personal journey.
Yeah.
I think for your personal journey of,
Power just went up.
oh, that's crazy. We still see you though. But I think that's your personal journey. I think as far as like animation has its definition as if you will, right? Animation is dance style derivative from uh popping foundations, emulating clay animation, stop motion, boom, right? I if you wanted to Boom, nutshell, right? But what dance style isn't paragraphs long?
Yeah.
What's ballet?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Exactly.
They're gonna tell you so many things, right? Because then what's contemporary?
Hmm.
And then what's jazz? Right? It's so many different. And then what's tap and how is tap different from clogging? And then is it just the
Hmm.
shoes? Do their feet not move the same? Like
Hmm.
it's so many things. Like dance styles. What's salsa? What's bachata? What
Wait,
you know is like it goes like that though. Is what I'm saying, right? It goes like that. Like
yeah, but
most
glitch with all those, there's kind of a schematic because there's fundamental steps to adhere to. Like, oh, these are the steps of ballet. These are
glide. So if I plie and releve, am I doing ballet?
what?
If I do a plie or a releve, am I doing ballet?
You,
No.
you, you, know, you did a ballet move.
You plie all the time when you glide.
Okay, it's
They
fine.
just put it.
It's a ballet move.
They just
But
put it. They just. I'm just saying. It's a squat. It's a squat. It's a squat. So what I'm saying is right. So what I'm saying. Every time I squat, I'm doing ballet. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. I'm just saying though. I'm using this as an example because
I see the point. I see the point.
that's the honesty behind it, right? The honesty is if I do a plie, unless I and everything, nothing is just one sentence. No dance style is just one sentence, bro. No dance. So I think searching for a one sentence for animation doesn't exist because it is an art.
Yeah.
yeah, we're not looking for a single
No, but
sentence.
that's
We're just
the but
looking for a
those are the
way to.
conversations, Glad. But those are the conversations that's being had on what is animation.
Yeah.
I'm listening. My ears to the people.
Oh.
My ears to the people. It's to the people, God. So I'm just saying, based on he asked, how do we feel about the
Yeah.
conversation being had? I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I think the answer is already there. I think repeating the question isn't going to change the answer. Like,
Yeah.
what color the sky? Blue. What color the sky? Blue. What color the sky?
Bro,
Blue.
one second, 1 second. Glitch.
It is what it is.
Glad this is your chance to respond.
Type
It
shit.
comes
All
back.
right. It's the thing is it's just not parallel with a lot of his examples, just because of the amount of unknowns. Because and it's like you have all these unknowns, and you also have a collection of commonalities with so many other things that it's hard to pinpoint a definition. So it is kind of like a needle in a haystack that we're not sure that there's a needle in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's the glitch's point. Like there might
Right.
not be a clear answer because of how broad and how uh, potentially expansive its application is. Like there might not be a
Mm.
way to box it in, and maybe it's just like old glitch saying, "This is what it is. Here is what the meaning has been stated. The rest, it's kind of to your imagination. Kind of use the search for it as a way to spearhead your journey, but you
Mhm.
might not ever actually get there. But it's really about your journey.
Right. Use the
Like,
blueprint.
no
Use the
fun.
blueprint. And then the rest is up to you what you add to it. Like, because that's what animation is for all of us. We all have a blueprint of animation. And where it's at now, like Glad, the way you started, you look like elsewhere.
I'm a big fan of Elsewhere, so that's.
I know, but you
Yeah.
started, you look like elsewhere.
I don't think I
Now,
ever looked like him, but
well,
like,
no. I'm just
yeah, I
saying,
think
like,
you can tell
You
I
know.
watched him. I think
I'm just
like all this.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, bro. But what I'm saying is
Fucking
now
drag.
it looks so expansively different, bro.
Mhm.
Right? And I think
Right.
that's just what it is. I mean, Chibi looked faker than an actual fake bot. Like he looks faker than a toy.
I think if you put Chibi next to like a robot Chibi, and they like who looks the
We'll,
same, you would not
we'll
tell
get
the difference.
confused.
I
Yeah,
don't think you can tell the difference.
We would
I
get
think you'd be
confused.
like
right,
that one. No, wait.
right.
You know,
We'll take the wrong chibi home.
We take the wrong Chibi home. Uh-oh. Not what's that movie called? Us? What is it?
Oh, I know you some what
What
movie is
is that? That Jordan Peele movie?
was it Us?
What is it called? Us?
I think it is called Us. You're right.
Something like that. This is
Us.
song.
The creepy ass movie. Boy.
That Chibi.
Creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, we pretty much, I mean, this conversation kind of naturally flowed where I was kind of hoping it would. Got, like getting context about what Dragon House means and what it meant, um, and what it means to be a Dragon House dancer, and kind of like more about your perspective on what it is that you guys do. Um, I want to kind of close out with what does the future of Dragon House look like? And what are what are some of the messages that you guys would like for the current and future generations of animation dancers to hear?
I think so. While we don't have like a written goal,
Sure.
I think the future of animation, well, animation in general, and I'll answer the Dragon House question specifically, but I think the future of animation, based on its trajectory now, is that I think it's going to just continue to expand and grow. I think there will be new crews that come out in the future that do what we did, but even to the next level. And I think it will just continue to grow as long as people are still loving it and continuing to do it and pursue it. For Dragon House, while we have been all doing it for a while, we're still pretty young. We got a lot of work that we still got to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think we still gonna be raising the bar, shooting, still creating content, still pushing our craft out there, and just really just trying to get as good as we can possibly be. Any business plans, we don't keep that on the low. But as far as like the Dragon House movement, I feel like we would continue to grow and bring people on who will continue it further. I mean, eventually we're going to have to start recruiting kids. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, carry the
We want
torch.
it to live beyond us. We're
Carry
gonna
the
have
torch.
to start to get younger and younger people in and stuff like that. But I think yeah, we're just gonna continue on the path we've been on. I know we've been like kind of like not consistent. It's like we'll be here, and every dragon has different schedule, different lives. We're are all adults. We have families and stuff that are growing. We have other part of our lives that we're also developing. So while it's not as concentrated as it was in the earlier days, where all we had was dance, I do feel like as adults in our, it's going to come to our awareness, and it already is, it's just, people at different ages at a time. It's just like, yo, this is something that we still need to like, sweat on. Like, we still got to like, be in your lab, still got to create content, still got to like, and we have to create content like to create content, but I mean like create content for the purpose of sharing our art and wanting to inspire the
Yes.
next generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I grew up on YouTube. Like I spent my time on YouTube, like seeing a one video, and then I see like suggested videos. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And then go down a wormhole. And like that's how I basically discovered dancers, you know? I would love to see that. I would love to see that resurge. But
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, and to piggyback off that real quick, it's just I think for Dragon House, it's just like passing the torch and
Mm.
staying family. Like we talk in our chat pretty much every day. And we still hold our younger guys accountable. I mean, our younger guys are like your age, roughly about 25, 26. So
Mhm.
we just kind of give them big brother mentality of like, all right, if you doing this, then like, blase blah. And they share that with each other as well. Like I think Bluprint, Flash and Yaya just battled Dragon House, the three of them,
Mm.
they just
Yeah.
battled.
Last weekend, yep.
And one of the younger dragons was like, "Hey, don't save nothing. It could be your last round. Put everything out there. As soon as you get out there, start. He
Mhm.
should have said, throw him on the grill, no seasoning. But we got things to teach. We got things to teach still. Like I said, we still teaching, right? So, but it's just like that's the energy of the crew, and we want to just continue to add people that has that, like, because it is already a feeling from us of a passing of the torch. Because our young dragons battle all the time.
All the time.
Luffy, Hermes. I mean, Bruiser, like, all right, Jamie Bruiser's battling all the time. That boy,
Who's a stay battle?
he stay balanced, but it's just that like keeping our iron sharp, making sure we breathe in fire.
Yeah.
You know, breathing fire.
I'm
Just
definitely looking
expand.
forward to you, mate. See, definitely meeting you in person. I've seen some of your clips. You're definitely dope, bro. Like I definitely see the skills there. So congratulations on that on your journey for sure. And I'm definitely hyped for. I feel like Unimate's gonna be like this. Unimate is gonna be like the highest level of animation in
Man.
one building that I've
Oh
Bro,
seen
yeah.
in a very long time.
And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna tell you this: I seen Colin since he was a little one.
Yeah.
I'm talking a little one, bro. Like with
Say like
13,
14, 15.
14, bro.
I met you. Yeah, it's crazy that I'm like older than you were when I first met you, which is like
Yes.
my brain.
Yeah.
wow.
But
No, yeah.
That'll make you feel old.
yeah.
Bro, and I seen him when he was starting. He had it. You know when you like he got it. You got it. You just gotta do what he did. He went to the lab. He went to the lab. He went to the lab and got crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I
that.
think like talking about like Colin, because I know that I was like around like the Unimate week,
Mm.
and we had like the I guess like they had like the dime stop competition, so I was kind of just like
Oh,
kind of
well,
hovering
that's a
around.
competition.
Hmm?
Oh yeah.
Like yeah, the dime stop competition, and
So
then
fun.
like I was kind of just like hovering around, and I see Colin, he did like this like kind of like a move, and then he just like stopped, and then like kind of moved like just and it was like really unexpected. And it was just like, it's like, oh man, this guy's gonna be
Oh man,
like,
I
He's gonna
appreciate the
be a
love.
and
problem.
Appreciate it.
yeah,
Here's a problem.
like yeah,
He said,
that's kind of a thing that like
Chibi
I
said
like to
it.
see as far as
Chibi
like in
said it.
animation is like, especially like with dime stops, it's like the best dime stops are the very unexpected ones,
Yeah.
like you saw like, kind of like
Mm.
moves, like they're moving normally and they just stop and then they kind of just like continue moving,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I used to
Yeah,
Like
be so
I
good at that.
yeah, I really like seeing a lot of that, like, because I don't know, it's just and it's really cool that like we're seeing more and more people being like interested in
mm,
this, and I'm really happy that like Yaya has like this like Unimate for like people who are really interested in robot animation. So it's really cool that like we're getting more and more people interested in this.
Yeah, that's facts.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I kind of think of it as like I don't know, the third, fourth wave of animation, you know? It's like it's bubbling to the surface again, you know? And it's I mean, we have people really holding it down in battles in like a bunch of battles, Zilla's really holding it down, showing people the
Boss.
potential of animation in a battle context.
That boy Zilla.
Yeah,
And just
I
all the
laughed with
people
him
with
a
the
couple
events
weeks
and
ago.
stuff.
Hell yeah. Personally,
Yeah.
the Robo Zilla, man.
He is a situation.
And
He is a future dragon.
Bruh. He already dragged, man.
We're gonna say it first.
he,
He
uh,
got Zilla in
Hey,
his name. He
yo.
already dragged.
He's already a dragon, bro.
Yeah, I'm really happy that Zilla like really committed to like because I know like in the what was it, the robot like competition last year,
Mm.
well like during the Unimate, like he wanted to um because like he's been watching like a lot of like the big robots like
mm,
from Terminator 3,
mhm.
and like I was just like kind of giving him like you know pointers to like really emulate that. And so,
Yeah.
like when he was in a robot competition, I was really proud that like he actually did that, because like
Hmm.
I feel
Yeah,
like yeah, because I feel like if you really take advantage of like just like who you are, then you can really like go like places. You can really like have like a very effective like
That
style.
is,
Mhm.
yeah, that's 100%. Because he's a
Yeah.
big dude, so really emulate, bro. Dude
yeah.
is
Yeah, nah. I laugh with
crazy, bro.
Zillow. I laugh with Zilla, and he was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I laughed with him, and I
Is.
was like, all right,
100%.
okay, all
And
right,
seeing him
All
up
right.
close is
okay.
crazy because of how big he is. Like seeing him up close in person, you're just like,
It's like,
okay,
bro,
I swear the
move.
ground just shook. Um, but yeah, that thing you're mentioning about finding out what your thing is in capital and like I want to say capitalize, but like like expanding onto that, like building from that is huge.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
we need more of that for sure.
This is
Hmm.
the best example. Look at Chibi. Like
Chibi for sure.
Chibi literally doesn't like mean like small robot for real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's perfect, and he's like, you are a robot, Chibi. Like it's perfect.
That's what
I
I feel
mean,
like.
Glad.
That's what I feel like.
Glad. I feel like we all kind of did that though. Like, my name is Glitch, and his name is
Yep.
Bluprint,
Yep.
Mhm.
and you are
Well,
I
yeah,
Glide.
I lied.
but TV's talking about like your actual physical appearance. Like you don't look like a glitch. You just
That's
got
true.
a crazy style and glitch control.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
You're right.
Lose
You're right.
control.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
You're right. You're right. You're
I should have named myself Handsome King Prince.
right. Hell.
All right.
Right.
But yeah, this was fantastic. Were there any last things you guys wanted to mention? Any messages to current generation of animators? Things about where you might like to see the scene go? Or have
Yes.
you said all that there is to
To
say?
all the new animators and all the animators who just continue on the journey, one, press on, keep
Yes.
going, don't stop. There's so much gold in this mind of dance for real. Also, don't put yourself in the box. Don't fall
Mm-hmm.
victim to like parameters and stuff like that. Like adhere to history stuff like that. Like don't ignore history or anything like that. Like study. Like do your research, do your homework. But also, put yourself first. Like really explore what you can do, and really get your imagination out. Like just do it. Like there's nothing with animation. Nothing is off limits, and I encourage everyone to go as far as they can.
Beautiful.
Also, one thing I love to leave off with people. Like I teach this all the time. I just taught this last week. The thing that separates very skilled dancers from other very skilled dancers is music. Music theory. Learn it. Even if you have to pick up an instrument, I say the best instrument to pick up or instruments is percussion. Go into percussion, learn it. Whatever you got to do, learn music theory, learn counts, learn rhythm, learn pacing, learn timing in music. Because literally, somebody can have the same skill as you and can outdo you in a round, outdo you on a track because their understanding of music is just better. My understanding of music is really, really, really good. I've been in band since fourth grade. I've done music theory all my life. I've created music. I've composed. I've directed. Literally all of that. So my understanding of music is what drives and helps me in my dance as a whole. So if you don't have that, get
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
it. Yeah.
I think like yeah, there's like always like getting, the research and just understanding like, what it takes to like be like, animated and all that. But I think the one thing that I feel people it's important for everyone is to never like lose yourself.
Mm,
Like always like kind of like, kind of show your like embrace your experiences, your interests. Like it's kind of that's the way you can like really stand out because like that's what makes you like different because like how we all like have like different experiences, we have different things we like, and things, all this and that. And I feel like when people like kind of show that and show like themselves, then I feel like I can see like just themselves, like kind of their stories, like and that was the thing that I really liked about like in the Unimate last year is just seeing everyone have like their different like
mm, mhm.
stories or different experiences, and it's like that's how they can like really create like their own character because they're not trying to like be someone else, they're not trying to like there'll be like they probably have like techniques they already they like and they're like using, but they branch themselves out because like um they have something that like from their experience that sets themselves apart from other people. So I feel like it's very important that no matter how much research you're trying to like, be, you know, technically, never like lose like your like yourself basically.
Mm,
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm gonna say, just do the work. For all in the new generation, do the work. It's gonna be hard. You're not gonna be good every day, but you gotta train. You gotta do the work. You have to train. There's no shortcuts to being fire. It's just not. We tried it. We've looked. There's no one piece to just being good. If you ain't good, just being that don't work. Like, don't think, oh, I can just go do these tricks and I'm fine now. That's not how it works, bro. You gotta train for real. Like, actually train. Like, it's not easy. We know that. Duh.
Yeah.
We know that. But you have to do the work. To all the young dancers, do the work. That's it.
And just like a quick comment on that, I know for me, for the longest time, I was thinking of it in terms of the physical work, and there is a lot of physical work. But then when you get to the point where you feel like your technique, like you have your technique and it's just there, then it's like the artist and the mental part of it. That's the real work right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, man, like why was I not doing good rounds? Like I just wasn't feeling it, or maybe I was focused on this and like that. That's where, in my opinion, the real work begins.
Yes,
But
brother.
yeah, I definitely feel that. So,
Yeah.
all right.
I would teach a new student anything but a move on our first session. Like
Mm,
literally everything but a wave. I would sit there and teach you how to count music for
mm.
an hour before I teach you how to wave. Like you just got to understand certain things first before just going straight into technique and moves and punchlines and whatever.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It certainly helps when you have a musical background. Because Blue, you said that you were a drummer, right?
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Glad you play music?
No, I was just being blues.
No, I'm saying growing up.
This man,
No, I ain't playing music. I was just
I dabbled in keyboard.
Mhm.
Um,
you
not heavy, like I have no skill of mention, but I can play a few tunes. I can play a few jingles.
Okay. Chibi.
if you tune,
Chibi, you music?
No,
Hmm.
I am the music.
Yeah.
oh,
Hey, I don't want no smoke. That was Bluprint over here talking about some.
wow.
You better
Yeah.
do music. That
hey
was
I
man,
didn't, I
Blueprint.
didn't
that's
grow up
real.
in a musical
That's real shit.
household, so
That's
like
No.
I was around music all the time, around artists and
That's real shit. It's good because you have to know like obviously there's some people that's obviously born with that ear and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragon House is full of them. But
Yes.
there are dancers on this planet that have great technique, bro.
Yep.
Like superb, like top notch, but they don't
Yes,
know how to
but they
live in a pocket of a song or a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to live in the music. They don't know how to express what they want to really through music. They just doing it through technique.
yeah, and you know something too. The level, I think young dancers, the level you really want to take your craft is to the point where when people see you doing it, it looks effortless. So
Mm,
you can
yeah.
then
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
in whatever character or form, whatever that is, you can really just live in that because I mean, me and Colin has talked about this before too. It's like some people technique is really, really good, but it looks like they're trying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that then sometimes take you out. It's like, it's fine. It's so good. It's mind-blowingly good, but
Yeah.
it
still
takes
ain't
away from
it.
it.
It's something just off,
Yeah, it's just
right?
not. I'm not. When you hear people say, "I just wasn't feeling it," the music is a big part of feeling it. If you ain't
Oh
helping them
yeah,
feel the music,
yeah.
they seeing what you doing, but they ain't feeling it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a definitely big part.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of understood it like when at times like when battling, when it's like the music is kind of just like not very much to really like work with, you know? Like there
Mm-hmm.
was like a battle I did. And like I remember like some of the songs like when there's like a lot of stuff I can like really like hit because like if you can like really understand like the techniques, really have that like kind of just second nature, like you could just do it without like thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then like then when it comes to like the music, then if there's a lot that like I can work with, if there's a lot of like just da-da-da-da, then like however I'm gonna move is gonna look dope because I keep with the technique,
Mhm.
and with the music that's playing, I can like play with that and like just like just kind of know it's kind of more of an understanding of just like how the music like flows really like
Yeah.
like
Music
well, like for
theory.
example like dubstep like like when there's like a build up and it's kind of like you kind of move like kind of either slow or kind of like build up or whatever, and then when a drop comes in is like when you like start like going crazy, it's kind of as simple as like that, where it's kind of just understanding the intensity of the song, um like when you got to move slow, when you got to move fast, like when you got to stop, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So, and like for me, like I don't have like, a music like background, but I just kind of know how I just dissect like songs.
Yep.
Even if I don't know it, I kind of just like, all right, I'm just gonna like have a kind of like a speed or like what sounds I know may come up and then just kind of like work with that. So
Yes.
I think like that
Yeah.
also comes with just experience because like knowing it's like being able to go into battles over and over again is
Yeah.
kind of like it's a really great way of testing yourself on how what you're gonna put on like the dance floor to a song you've either never heard of or all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the younger generation needs you know, to get that experience, like not just like being able to train yourself, but also like testing your techniques
Mm-hmm.
and like your musicality by just dancing to music that you've never even heard of, or even just, branching out to like all kinds of genres. Because like I feel like different genres will
Prepare you.
maybe inspire you to move a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dubstep kind of move how you move in way, trap,
Yeah.
metal music.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I think like it's just amazing how like you can just expose yourself to different like genres and like what can you do with, what to those different genres. Um, so I think like just a lot of like experience, like going out there and like training really will help you elevate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won a competition, didn't know a single song I danced to.
Yeah.
Didn't know a single song Unimate play.
Yo,
I
that
didn't know.
your second song in the final battle, I need that track. Someone
Bro,
gotta
I
have
got
it
you. I got
somewhere.
I
you.
still don't
Got
know
you.
it. I
I'm
still don't
looking
know
for
it.
it, bro.
I will send
You
it to
know
you.
that track? Oh,
I
I Shazam that screen
that
something.
round.
Not like pick it up.
That
What's
look,
round
that?
was crazy.
I didn't know a single track they played.
That's crazy.
I
You
was
can
just
feel it.
like,
You can feel
if you notice every round I start the same. I wait.
it.
Mhm.
I wait. I'm like, okay, it's gotta do something. Let's hear it. Let's hear how I'm gonna move because the music gonna move us. We know that, but it goes back to what Chibi saying. The more experience you have in that music, the easier it becomes. You start showing that experience by being able to adapt to everything. And anticipate music and know. Have ideas of what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Yo, that's it from Dragon House.
All right. Yeah. This was awesome, guys. This is packed full of information and like inspiration and lessons learned. So I want to thank you guys for your time. This was really cool. I mean, me and along with my generation of animators, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but I can speak for most of us that we grew up on you guys. Like you guys were what animation is to us. This is my first introduction to animation and dance. So it's great to hear more about that and what that means to you guys. And thank you again for sharing.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir.
having us. Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
Thanks for
us.
having us.
having us.
Yeah. And I am looking forward to seeing you guys in July.
I can't
Oh yeah.
wait.
Woo!
Oh, I
Hell
can't
That's
wait.
yeah.
about to be
I said
lit,
about
bro.
It's gonna be it.
yeah.
All right.
All
Time
Sir.
to
right.
hit the
All right,
lab.
all right, Dragons.
All
Yeah.
right, Dragons.
See you guys. Thank you.